Hi, I'm Duncan and you're watching Wake Up Well. It's Thursday the 9th of April, which means we're in chapter 9 of our current series in the book of Proverbs. I'm just going to focus on one verse today, and it's verse 10 of chapter 9. It says this: "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." I guess we'd all like to be wise, right? Well, the good news is that wisdom is available to everyone. It's not just reserved to some clever people who are really intellectual. That's not what wisdom is about at all. Jesus tells us that the wise person is the one who hears his words and then puts them into practice. And when we do consistently put his words into practice, it's in that place that we actually gain spiritual knowledge and insight as we get to know the heart of God, the place from where his words flow. So the question is what motivates us to listen to the words of God and then put them into practice? Well, here in Proverbs 9, Solomon tells us that the starting point of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. It's a phrase that actually appears throughout Scripture, although if we're honest, it's probably something we don't focus on a huge amount. When we talk about relationship with God, we often like to talk about a loving father and a close friend, and he absolutely is those things. But the love of God and the welcome of God become all the more staggering when we recognize and acknowledge the sheer power and holiness of God. The Bible tells us that God is an all-consuming fire. He can't be contained. He's not something to be played with. He's not just a cuddly teddy bear. He's a roaring lion. Jesus once said to his disciples, "Don't be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell." Wow! We need to recognize that when we come to God, we're engaging with the one who has power to determine eternal destiny. He can do whatever he likes. And yet, taking that into consideration, Jesus in the very same breath continues to encourage his disciples, but don't be afraid. You are worth so much to God. The value that God places on you and the desire that he has for close relationship with you becomes all the more astonishing when we recognize his power and his holiness, and when we have the humility to recognize our weakness and our sinfulness apart from him. I love the ocean. I love it on calm days when you can hear sounds carry for miles. I love it on stormy days with waves crashing in over the rocks. But the ocean demands respect. If we get on the wrong side of it, we can find ourselves in danger, even lose our lives. It's the same with God. Why listen to what God has to say? Because the stark reality is in not doing so, ultimately, it leads to death. Friends, hear this in love today. Fear the Lord, but do not be afraid. The most powerful, holy one desires you more than you could ever imagine.